So we have 4 new Justice Democrats for you guys that were just unveiled this week. There are now a grand total of 32 Justice Democrats. That's a lot of candidates. And if we fight hard enough, we can win. All 32 of them can win. Some races, admittedly, are easier and the odds are more in our favor. Some of them are harder and the odds are not in our favor. And for those of you who don't know, we go after everybody. So there are Republicans who we're going after, and some of these Justice Democrats there are no other Democrats in the race that they're running against. Some Justice Democrats are running against corporate Democrats. So it's a mix of everything. We go after the Republicans, we go after the corporate Democrats, and the idea is to get Bernie Sanders style politicians elected, to create a Democratic Party in the mold of Bernie Sanders, because he's the most popular politician in America, and that's the case for a reason. He's in favor of policies that the American people are in favor of, so if we create a movement with his vision as the basis, we're going to do well. So let me tell you about these candidates, because this really is super exciting. The more I read about them, the more I fell in love with them. So first of all, we have James Thompson. James Thompson is running in the 4th District of Kansas. Now, this district is overwhelmingly a Republican district. It's Republican plus 17. So he ran in the last election, and guess what? He came within 6 points of winning. It's a Republican plus 17 district, but he came within 6 points of winning because he ran a campaign like Bernie Sanders. So Ron Estes is the guy who beat him, but this guy only won after the RNC pumped hundreds of thousands of dollars into the race. The Koch brothers pumped a tremendous amount of money into the race. And this guy, Estes, ran just horrific ads that were factually wrong. They tried to say, like, oh, he supports taxpayer-funded late-term abortion. They just made shit up. They made shit up to try to beat him. It was a smear campaign to try to beat him, and that's the only reason that they ended up pulling it out. But this time, he stands a very good chance of winning, because Estes is horrendous. So James Thompson is a veteran. He's also a civil rights attorney, and he's been endorsed by Our Revolution as well. So yet again, let's pause and reflect on that. I mean, how many times have we heard people in the Hillary camp scream at the Bernie camp, "You guys aren't in favor of unity. That's the problem. Is why don't you unify? Why don't we unify? I think we should unify. I don't know why we're not unifying. God damn it, fall in line, Bernie bros." Well, the reality is there is unity on the left, but it's unity on the actual left, not the neoliberal centrist corporatists, not the Hillary camp. Because when they say unify, they mean unify behind, a corporate candidate who perhaps voted for the Iraq War, voted for the Patriot Act, who's way too kind to Wall Street. That's what they mean by unity. What we mean by unity is like-minded people on the left who are for Medicare for all, who are for free college, who are for a living wage. And there is unity among us. That's why we've been working with Our Revolution and People for Bernie and Democratic Socialists and Fight for 15. I mean, this is where the actual unity is, and that's why this is very exciting. So Our Revolution endorsed him. He's now also a Justice Democrat. And let's go get Estes. He is horrendous. Okay, next we have Samina Mustafa. Now, she's running in the 5th District of Illinois. How's this for progressive? She used to run a Planned Parenthood. That's pretty sure that's one of the things on the left that people would go, oh, I like that. So she used to run a Planned Parenthood. Let me give you some of her quotes here. On the issue of healthcare, she says, quote, "We should defend the Affordable Care Act for now, but work toward Medicare for all to ensure access for all Americans." On the issue of campaign finance, she says, quote, "Public financing to empower the next generation of leaders." She wants public financing. She wants to get money out of the system. On the issue of net neutrality, she says, quote, "The open and free internet not only protects free speech, but also supports innovation and job creation." So that's Samina Mustafa, the 5th District in Illinois. now a Justice Democrat. We also have Antoinette Cedillo Lopez running in New Mexico's 1st District. She's a law professor, or was a law professor, at New Mexico University. She runs, get this, an anti-domestic violence nonprofit. Again, the experience that many of the, apart from being right on the issues, which they are, these Justice Democrats have experience in a variety of amazing fields. I mean, that's quite a resume. A law professor for decades, and then ran an anti-domestic violence nonprofit. On healthcare, how's this for clear? You guys are going to love this. She says, quote, I support Medicare for All Plan HR 676 and will co-sponsor and champion legislation that truly makes healthcare universally accessible to all. We can all see that there is something wrong with our current system when we look at insurance company buildings and see gleaming and shiny edifices of luxury, and then we look at many of our hospitals and we see them crumbling. It's just plain wrong. How's that for populist left? On the issue of education, she says higher education opportunities have to be made universally accessible. We must champion debt relief for college and higher learning and move towards a debt-free college model with our state and community colleges. I will fight for additional federal funding that expands state investments in our public higher education system and make our public colleges and universities tuition-free. Then we have, okay, now this guy, wow. It's a little early to make this proclamation, but this guy may be president someday. His name's Kanyela Ng. He's running in Hawaii's 1st District. He is a superstar. So here are some of his ideas. He says, quote, FDR said that employers who cannot afford to pay their employees a living wage cannot afford to do business in America. I'll fight to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour and tie it to inflation, restore this great tradition, and ensure employee bargaining rights with a new deal. Okay. He says, it's past time we stop all counterproductive regime change wars, rein in military spending, and no-bid contractors, foster diplomacy around the world, restore sensible foreign policy, and invest more resources here at home. Damn. So he says he wants to expand Social Security, not just protect it. He goes, I want to expand Social Security. And he even, in his platform, goes as far as to say he supports, like, FDR's new Bill of Rights. I don't know how many of you recall FDR's new Bill of Rights, but for example, in that, FDR says that people should have a job guarantee. So you have a right to a job. So he wants full employment by law. This guy, man, he supports universal basic income. He's 28 years old. He's younger than me. I'm 29, he's 28. And listen to how accomplished he already is. He says, quote, I don't come from money or power, and neither of my parents or grandparents have college degrees. So when I first ran for state house at 22 years old, I could count the folks who thought I had a chance on one hand. I was in a Republican district, running on a progressive platform, but I couldn't stand by while the Tea Party incumbent sold out our islands. So I personally knocked on 15,000 doors. I walked my neighborhood from noon to sunset after working a full-time sunrise shift cleaning locker rooms at a nearby resort. It was an uphill battle, but people could relate to my grassroots message, so they joined the campaign. We were outspent 10-1, but still won by a huge 26%. What? So, the only Republican district, by the way, in Hawaii, he goes, no, we're going to change that, and here's how we're going to change that. We're not going to run every Democratic strategist in the country would have told him, oh, you have to run like a more right-wing campaign, more conservative, be more moderate, because, hey, it's the only Republican district in Hawaii, so you got to meet them halfway. He says, no. At 22 years old, I'm going to run a super progressive campaign in the only Republican district in Hawaii. Watch me win. He won by 26%, and he's 22 years old. Why is every pundit in the country not talking about this? Here it is. Here's your proof. Here's your proof that, yes, populist left wins. If you run unapologetic left, you win. He won in a Republican district with that message. And look, you guys are not surprised by this, but, mainstream pundits would be like, no, that's fake news. There's no way that's real. But again, look at Bernie Sanders. He went to West Virginia to do a town hall with Chris Hayes. And he got a room full of Trump voters to cheer and give a standing ovation to Medicare for all and free college. There it is. Room full of West Virginia Trump voters love populist left ideas. And he proved that in Hawaii, in a Republican district, people will vote for populist left over fake populist right, over Republican. So, goddamn, this guy is a superstar. And look, man, I'm excited about these guys. If you want to support them. Now, if you want to support all the Justice Democrats, all 32 candidates, you go to justicedemocrats.com/fight. That's the link that will split it between all the candidates, split your donation between all the candidates. If you want to donate to these new 4 candidates that we have here and you're excited about them, you go to justicedemocrats.com/momentum. Now, remember, this is the way we win. We need you. Because all of our candidates don't take corporate PAC money, don't take billionaire money. So we're raising Bernie Sanders style. Small dollar donations from regular people. So we need a lot of people to give a little bit of money each. And that's the way that we win. Because we are at an institutional disadvantage because our opponents can just go and raise money from big money donors. So they can outspend us by a tremendous amount of money. So, we need to stay competitive and be in the ball game in terms of fundraising. Unfortunately, that's the way our system works, is you need to raise money in order to do well. Our candidates are fighting to change that, where we can have public financing and we get money out of politics, but that's not the way it works right now. The way it works right now, you unfortunately need to raise money in order to compete, so we need to raise in small dollar amounts from a lot of people. So I know they would really appreciate your support. JusticeDemocrats.com/momentum to support these 4 candidates. But everybody should be excited about this because, goddamn, we keep finding superstars.